Hey everybody, it's Kia. So today I've been busy trying to go through and get my debt all lined out and listed out on an Excel spreadsheet so that I can do our debt confession video with you. So if you didn't know, like I said, my name is Kia. I am a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm an accountant, and now it's tax season and it's just been super crazy. I'm a little behind on getting everything lined up for 2019 only because I had surgery at the end of 2018 and then I was trying to get ready for the CPA exams and I had to do that before we really got too much further into tax season. So now that I'm all done with that, I've been changing up our the software that I use for tracking our debt and our income and our expenses and everything, as well as my monthly budget spreadsheets. And now I'm going to be budgeting in Planner. I'm really hoping that one, I keep the spreadsheet because it's easy to copy and paste, and then it gives me a list to be able to write it down on. Two, I do it in the finance software, which is Quicken. I'm using Quicken on the Mac. Because of the way I budget, I have a big buffer in my account. And I'll explain that later, I'll explain it now. So basically, I try to budget anywhere between 2 weeks to a month in advance for as many items as I can, just to build like an internal emergency fund. So basically, like if something really, really happened, I could reset my budget and I could start paying things payday by payday. And I would have at least, I think, one payday, like almost an entire payday, as a buffer. Oh, I've had too much coffee today. I'm so sorry. But I think I've got one payday as like an internal buffer in there. And so that means like now is when the rest of my January 12th expenses are clearing the bank. Like that's almost a month late. So I need to be able to track like when they're clearing the bank, and what's still outstanding, and just make sure that they all clear. So I do use the software for that. The other reason why I use the software is because I've always used an accounting software. I started out with Quicken when we got married. I switched from Quicken on Windows to Quicken on Mac. I didn't like it on Mac forever ago, so then I switched back to Windows, and then my husband started doing bookkeeping at home, and then I was going to start my own bookkeeping business at home, and so we bought into a bookkeeper's program for Accountant Pro. So I decided, well, I was going to do it in there because I was doing it in there for everything else. And that was fine and dandy, other than in Quicken, I was used to having a calendar. So without having my calendar for my bills, I had to do a spreadsheet. Well, by the time I did my spreadsheet, and by the time I imported everything and then went in and recorded all my recurring transactions and all that kind of stuff, like I really didn't have enough time to follow up on the credit cards. Like that just basically took what I had for the bank account, just to track that piece. So we weren't tracking, other than making sure that the credit cards were paid. I wasn't tracking the change in the balances. I didn't even know what some of the balances were, and that's awful, but I didn't. So we decided that we were going to switch over to Quicken on the Mac again, mainly just because it auto syncs everything together. So now I've got it all set up, I've got it all auto synced, and now I can track it every day and I can see what the change is. So hopefully that will help make things easy going forward, and then I'll have the whole picture like all the time. It'll be in my face, and it'll just be one more reason for us to curb our spending habits, and to focus on this journey that we're fixing to dive into. So if you're interested in seeing where we are at the moment, please stick around. I will be doing another video about our sick and tired moment, and kind of where everything came from, and just kind of what our plan is our plan of attack is so far, but hopefully I'll have that up in the next couple days or so. So if you're interested in watching that, please stay tuned, and if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments box down below. As I said on my budgeting video, these are all of our real numbers. Sadly, like, until my husband starts working full-time again, we don't have a whole lot of money left over to like really get our snowball going. So at the moment, I'm just going to be tracking what we budget versus the actual expenses, and then I am trying to diligently put money aside for homeschool so that that doesn't sneak up on us, because homeschool and an auto expense sinking fund are probably the only things that we're going to be able to set up at the moment, until we at least get through tax season. I think we're going to get a refund, so whatever extra money we have for this whole year, I'm really hoping to just chunk it onto debt. We do have a few things that we need to take care of, but I'm hoping that we won't be financing any of it and that we will be able to save for it. So, like I said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box down below. If you have suggestions, leave them in the comments box. And then if you want to embark on this journey with us, please hit the red subscribe button down below. I'm so nervous and like excited and everything all at the same time, but I'm ready to just kind of get through this moment. So let's dive in. Okay, so let's get this done. So as you can tell, I got some pretty fitting paper to put in my planner. It actually says get it done. It's a cute little grid and it's pink, and it says get it done on the back as well. But I am going to date this so that I know when these balances started from, and I'm going to mark this as my debt confession. Okay, so I have to say, like, I am really nervous to get this all out there, but let's move on. So I did go through and put everything into a spreadsheet because I like to have it in a spreadsheet and I like to see where things are at, and I like to re-add things up and play with it. But while I was putting it in a spreadsheet, I kind of organized it based off of how I wanted to look at it and how I wanted to tackle it. So up here at the top, we're going to start with the interest free items that we have. So we have cell phones through Verizon, and as of January, the balance on them was $562. So we got those as a buy one get one free option through Verizon for Mother's Day, and we did that when my husband was considering going to work outside of the home. That way my daughter could have a phone. So, you know, if we were going to buy one, we might as well get two for the price of one. So that's what we did there. The next thing is, after I was kind of promoted and went back to work for my current employer, we went and got couches from American Home. Partly because we've never had new couches, and then partly because my daughter decided that she could ride them like a horse. Like, so we had these like love seats, you know, like these side-by-side love seats, and they would independently rock and recline, and they were old, like, or not old, I mean they were 12 years old. They were my parents, and my 12-year-old decides to get up and ride them like it's a horse, and she totally broke them, and you know, feeling good. That was before we found out that I needed surgery and everything, and we've never had new furniture, and they were doing a big sale for Memorial Day, I believe, and we qualified for interest-free financing on it, so we decided to go ahead and do that. But they did start out right around $3,000, and I got them paid down to $900. The next thing on the list is Care Credit. that's how I financed my surgery. This is not the total cost of my surgery. The total cost of my surgery was closer to the $10,000 mark, but Care Credit let me finance the surgery center, or the surgery center let me finance them through Care Credit, and that's going to be interest-free for the next 2 years. The doctor, however, that was about $3,000. I had to pay him cash up front last year, so that's another reason why we had a little more buildup, is that we had to pay him outright. And then the next thing is going to be the anesthesiologist. They had told me when I called forever ago that I could finance them through Care Credit. And when I went to pay for them in January, after I got the bill in December, they wouldn't. It was just like a big old fiasco. I get the bill, and they wanted me to go down and pay in person, which, I mean, isn't a big deal, other than that's like an hour and a half trip for me to go back and forth during work hours to do that. So finally get them to give me the okay to fax them all the information, and they were only going to do the $2,000 bill over 6 months. Well, if you've done the quick math, that's like right around $300, and there's just no way I could do that. So we decided not to finance it in with Care Credit, because I thought I was going to have a 2-year interest-free period on that, and I had to make a down payment of like $170 to keep it out of collections, because they took forever to bill me, and then they took forever to go back and forth on getting it settled on how I could pay them and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, it's a medical bill, so I'm pretty sure that as long as I make some kind of payment on it, that they can't send it to collections. So we'll see. But later, once I get all this done and kind of list it out, I will tell you a little more about it. But I think I'm going to pull from my retirement and go ahead and pay that one off completely. Sadly, I pulled from my retirement for part of the doctor bill last year, so I don't have a whole lot in there, but I think I have enough to almost cover that. So that is all of my interest-free stuff at the moment. So that gives us a balance of $10,804. So these are the things that I want to be working on first, and that's because Wayfair, American Home, Care Credit, those 3 items, if I don't pay them off during their interest-free time period, they're going to go back and they're going to ding me for all of the interest previously. So American Home gave me 2 years. It hasn't even been a year yet, because we got that in May. So I'll have that one paid off for sure. And then Care Credit, I have 2 years from December. I think December was my first payment on that one. So as long as I keep up with that, that one will be interest free. If not, I really don't want them to come back on me on that one, because that's at like 30% or something like that. And then Wayfair, that's going to be the next big one I tackle, because I have been paying it every month, but I haven't been paying enough to take care of it before the interest-free time frame. And I think I've got about a year left to go before they do charge interest on that. So I'm going to work that into my payoff plan this year. Okay, so now let's go on to the credit cards. Okay, so I'm going to try to go smallest to largest, but some of these are a little out of order. So Ulta has 215. Chase Amazon has 474. Capital One MasterCard has 509. J.C. Penney's, 676. Capital One Visa, 916. Bank of America, 999. Another Capital One, for 1193. Credit One, $14.51. Another Credit One Visa, $14.81. Oops, Amazon store. I'll find some white out later. $9.89. Chase, $18.95. Best Buy, Sam's Club. If you don't know what a Sam's Club is, it's a lot like Costco. And then Chase, that's actually where we got our washer and dryer that went out. I need to check on that one because that one might be interest free, but I'm not sure. And then we have 2 Discover cards. And they are oh, that totally threw me for a loop because they both end in 93. And then this one's 2763. How weird. And then we have a State Farm card. And that one is $29.69. And then another Capital One. And it is $29.87. Whew. Wow. That's so crazy. I can't believe there's so many. Like, I don't know. This is what happens when you just stick your head in the sand and you just keep going. So, I don't know. So that gives us a total of credit cards at $26,444. Okay, and then the last thing is going to be our loans. Now, we have one personal loan through Payoff. We got that a year ago when we were going to try to consolidate as much as we could, and the balance on that one is still $12,000. $359. This one is a 3-year payoff, so we've been paying on it for about a year, so that one will be paid off in the next 2 years. And that one has a set payoff, like it's not a balloon payment or anything like that. And then we have 2 car loans through Capital One. I'm going to list the smaller one first, which is the newest one. That one's the Prius that we got at $15,682. And then we've got a Highlander. If you can tell, we like Toyota. And it is $23,375. And then lastly, our house, which is 102,545. So the total of our loans is $153,961, giving us a grand total I don't want it to smudge, of $191,209. Wow. Okay, so there it is. Like I said, part of this is stupidity, part of it's just not being able to control what was going on, not having any money in savings. So yeah, so this payoff loan consolidated some cards that aren't on here, and then even after we consolidated them, some of them, like Ulta and Pennies, got charged on again. And some of these are just new cards, some of these are existing cards, and yeah, so some of these we used to try to fix up our prior vehicle before we decided to get this loan here. We had a 2003 Volkswagen Beetle, like one of the little bug cars, you know, and it just kept breaking down. Like the EPS light would come on, and then the EPC light would come on, and the car would just like power down, like just not controllable, like it would just shut down, steering, brakes, everything. And we live in a little town, so we live kind of between 2 towns, I guess. So we live like 5 minutes away from the small town, which is where I work, and then we live like 20 minutes away, 20 minutes away from the bigger town. And to get to a VW dealership is like 3 hours away. And 1, we didn't have the money. 2, we don't have a vehicle who could tow the other vehicle. And yeah, so we tried to take it to some of the mechanics here in town, and yeah, so we managed to rack up part of this card here, and this card, and this card. Or I'm sorry, these 2 cards, trying to get it fixed. And then I just got tired of it. I was trying to sell it too, and nobody would buy it, so finally we just traded it in on the Prius. So before we got the Prius, the reason why we chose that one and we didn't buy, you know, a cheaper vehicle or whatnot, is that we couldn't find one in our area that we could finance, because a lot of places won't finance to people anymore. Like we had to go through a dealership, and we really wanted a Prius because my husband works about 40 minutes away, so we were spending roughly $100 on gas every payday for him. So it was like $50 every week, you know, for him to fill up. And with the Prius, we managed to refinance this car at a lower interest rate, and it was crazy. Like, it was really stupid when we got this one anyway, because we got it for an 8-year loan, and when I refinanced it, we still had 74 months to pay on it, and I think we were at like 8% or something like that. and interest. And so I refinanced that one at 3% on a 72-month loan. And so, yeah, it sucks that we still have that much longer to pay on this one, but it saved us about $100 a month. So between that and the extra $100 a month that we save on gas, we were able to buy the second car, and at least we know it's reliable. They had other ones that were right around the $10,000 range, but sadly, like, they were like 2010 models, and the one that we got was a 2015, so at least it's a little newer. And then those ones had, 150, 200,000 miles on them, versus the new one that we got had like 40. So that's the reasoning behind the new car. Chase, like I said, that one was from Washer and Dryer. Wayfair, we did that one because we needed new curtains. And then the kids like ruined our kitchen table. We had like a bar height table, and they like spilled stuff all over it, and then they broke the chairs, and like it was just ridiculous. So when we were furniture shopping, Wayfair gave us credit line at the same time. They gave us credit line, and they gave me interest free for 18 months. So we had been looking at tables for quite some time, and the other one was a hand-me-down, and I really wanted a big farm style table because we've got a big family, and just nice to be able to have everybody together. So that's where that one came from. We got that, and like I said, I think curtains and curtain rods and stuff like that we really needed, because we had like blankets pinned up on the walls and stuff, where some of the curtains got damaged when we were washing them, because they were all hand-me-downs as well. So yeah. So that's where those ones came from. Anesthesiologist, that one was completely out of the blue, but I think I'm going to pull from retirement, and that one should pay that one off. So I have been playing around on Excel, and I think I can pay off right around $6,000 when we get our tax refund back, and we do, and we save just a little bit between now and then. So that's kind of the goal. But as soon as I have more details on our plan, I will fill you in, but I do plan on using a website called Undebt, and that's UNDEBT IT, and it's really cool, actually. You can go in, plug in your debt, your interest rate, and the minimum payments, and it will calculate your payoff for you if you do the snowball. So I am in the process of getting that set up. So as soon as I have that set up, and I kind of figure out where we are at with everything else, and the rest of our budget, then I will let you know. But in the meantime, please just send good thoughts and prayers this way that we'll make it through. Like I said, part of it's stupidity, part of it's from living on one income that wasn't enough, and not living within that income. And yeah, but I think we'll pay off this one, this one, this one, and this one. Oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. And this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, between the tax refund and selling the puppies. So I think we'll have those paid off. That should save us about $375. Once I do that, then I'm just trying to decide, is it more economical to start paying on the rest of these cards that are under $1,000, because that's $375, or should I throw it onto this one? If I throw it onto this one, then I think that should bump the payment up right around $600. So I should be able to pay that one off in about 8 months. So if we can get our tax refund done and back early enough, we might have that one paid off before the end of the year as well. So I don't know. That's just kind of where we're at. Like I said, I'm going to plug it into the Undebt schedule online, and just kind of play with it a little bit, and then I might just compare the interest rates on some of these and figure out, which way should I go, because that $375, I mean 3 months and I can have this one paid off. Another 3 months and I can have this one paid off. You know, it's not as much as that one, but you know, I can pay these ones off, and I'm paying interest on these ones. So the more I pay down, the less interest I pay. So I don't know, but that's where we are. Okay, well, thanks for sticking around through all that. Wow, like, oh my gosh, just wow. I can't believe that's where we are. The 10,000 up at the top, that's kind of more priority for me at the moment, just because, like I was saying, those are all interest free. All the little ones, anything under $1,000 is going to be my next priority. So I think between tax refund and the snowball that we're going to create and everything, that maybe we can make a pretty good dent. The next thing in my plan, hopefully, is that I don't know if we should pay off that care credit or if we should try and pay off the other ones that we're paying interest on. I think that as long as we can afford the care credit payment, that we should just go with it. But at the same time, if we do that and we put it towards the care credit and we put, you know, those extra paydays on there, on whatever's left over after we buy, you know, school clothes, those extra things like that at that time. But whatever else we can throw onto that, I'm really hoping that that'll put us in a good spot. And then if my husband's still working where he is later and they curve his hours again next beginning of the year, you know, we'll be able to have a little more of a buffer. We won't be relying on as much. So I don't know, I'll probably do the same thing where I just go through and I figure out, you know, if we apply the money here and we pay off these things, is the payment, which one provides the best cash flow advantage, and then we'll probably go that route. So if you have any other suggestions, please, like I said, leave them in the comments box below. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll be having more update videos coming up soon. So thanks. See you guys later.